What is Hashimoto's disease and why are essential omega-3 fatty acids essential for fighting it? It's a fair question to ask, especially if you're at that point of frustration that you just need to get some clarity on how essential omega-3 fatty acids can help. In this video on Hashimoto's disease and omega-3 fatty acids, you'll be able to identify and understand the following 5 key tips. 1. What Hashimoto's disease is and what the key factors to deal with are. 2. What the symptoms of Hashimoto's disease are. 3. What the best way to treat Hashimoto's disease naturally is. 4. What essential fatty acids are, why they're important and how to obtain them, and 5. Why you have to be very careful when considering omega-3 fish oil to help Hashimoto's disease. Before then, if you'd like to get an ongoing collection of news, reports, resources and courses on various other health and wellness issues, please click the subscribe button in the bottom right of the video screen, then click the grey bell icon so you don't miss out on future videos, and then please leave a comment or ask a question below this video. It's so very easy to do. Plus, watch this video to the very end where you'll gain access to a special report that you can download as a free PDF. So, let's now find out what these 5 key tips to be aware of are for you to understand the relationship between Hashimoto's disease and omega-3 fatty acids. Number 1. What is Hashimoto's disease and what are the key factors to deal with? 1. Basically, Hashimoto's disease is an autoimmune system disorder. 2. It can cause hypothyroidism, which is an underactive thyroid. This is where your immune system attacks your thyroid, thereby damaging it, which restricts the thyroid gland from producing the thyroid hormones. So, Hashimoto's disease is an autoimmune condition where the immune system attacks the thyroid gland, destroying the thyroid tissue and reducing production of the thyroid hormone, which leads to hypothyroidism. 3. The thyroid gland is found at the front of your neck. 4. Thyroid hormones control how your body uses energy, so a reduction in thyroid hormones means that many of your body's functions slow down. 5. Hashimoto's disease is sometimes referred to as Hashimoto's thyroiditis, chronic lymphocytic thyroiditis, or autoimmune thyroiditis. Note that these terms end with itis, which means inflammation of an organ, tissue, joint, etc. So in this case it refers to inflammation of the thyroid. This understanding of inflammation of the thyroid is critical, as will become clearer when you find out how omega-3 fatty acids and an antioxidant called polyphenols work to reduce chronic inflammation at a cellular health level, thereby helping you in your fight against Hashimoto's disease. 6. The causes of Hashimoto's disease are chronic inflammation, as already mentioned. However, Hashimoto's disease can also be hereditary, thereby increasing the chances of family members getting the disease. 7. Hashimoto's disease arises when large numbers of white blood cells called lymphocytes that are part of your immune system produces antibodies that attack the thyroid gland. 8. It's reckoned that Hashimoto's disease is the most common type of hypothyroidism and affects about 5 out of 100 people, that is 5% in North America. 9. Women are 8 times more likely to suffer with Hashimoto's disease than men. 10. The group that suffers most with Hashimoto's disease are aged between 40 and 60 years. 11. The chances of getting Hashimoto's disease increase if you have other autoimmune disorders such as rheumatoid arthritis, multiple sclerosis, type 1 diabetes and psoriasis, to name a few. 12. Another health problem that could arise from having Hashimoto's disease is high cholesterol. 13. Pregnant women have to be particularly wary of hypothyroidism as it can cause problems for the mother and the baby. Number 2. What are the symptoms of Hashimoto's disease? As with nearly all autoimmune diseases, because they are driven by a gradual build-up of chronic inflammation in your body, the symptoms won't show up in the early stages until 1. The thyroid usually gets larger, a condition known as a goiter. 2. The front of the neck looks and or feels swollen. 3. Feeling tired and a low heart rate. 4. Feeling cold when you don't normally feel cold. 5. Gaining weight. 6. Memory issues and feeling depressed. 7. Stomach problems. 8. Changing hair texture and thinning. 9. Muscle and joint pain. 10. For women, menstrual problems and struggling to get pregnant. Number 3. The best ways to treat Hashimoto's disease naturally. To get the most from any natural foods to consume that will have the best and safest impact in fighting the disease, you have to take action that produces the main driver, being chronic inflammation. Yes, genes play a part in increasing the risk of getting Hashimoto's disease for some people, so it's easier to determine what the likely triggers are, such as viruses. So, if viruses trigger Hashimoto's disease, then it makes sense to improve and maintain your immune system by eating fresh and seasonal fruit and vegetables, whilst at the same time cut out the consumption of processed food, including fizzy drinks. Gluten in foods is also regarded by many as being a trigger, and as gluten is a protein found in barley, rye, wheat and other grains, then it follows that you should cut out bread, cereals and pasta. But remember that these foods are also processed and full of sugars, so the end product that you eat is not natural, even though some of the ingredients are. So, the foods to eat should be full of nutrients and vitamins such as 1. Leafy green vegetables, especially kale, broccoli, spinach and Brussels sprouts. 2. Peppers, green, red and yellow. 3. Carrots, beetroot and mushrooms. 4. Fruits such as berries and apples. 5. Avocados, Brazil nuts and walnuts. 6. Beans and legumes. 7. Spices such as garlic, ginger, turmeric. 8. Lean meat and eggs. 9. Marine algae such as edible seaweed and 10. Cold water, oily fish. In the next video, you will find out that 2 of these foods, marine algae such as edible seaweed and cold water oily fish, are the providers of essential omega-3 fatty acids, including what omega-3 fatty acids are, why they're important and how to obtain them. To emphasise the importance of understanding why omega-3 fatty acids, polyphenols and antioxidants are so crucial in getting your chronic inflammation under control, it all starts by finding out if your current omega-6 to omega-3 fatty acid ratio is out of balance. One way of doing that is to click on the URL link in the description box below this video. Complete the short questionnaire and then hit the start button. Plus, here is your special report to download for free entitled 5 Vital Factors to Understand When Using Omega-3 Fatty Acids to Combat Hashimoto's Disease and Hypothyroidism. Click on the URL link in the description box below. Finally, here's the disclaimer you've been waiting for. And now, here's the boring but very essential bit. Kindly note, the content of this video is not to be construed as medical advice in any shape or form and has been created for passive informational purposes only. End of boring but very essential bit. I hope you found this video useful, in which case please hit the like button, subscribe to the Omega-3 Zone YouTube channel and feel free to share with others you think will find this content helpful. The next video will share the last 2 key tips focusing on the benefits of omega-3 fatty acids and how they help Hashimoto's disease sufferers, and why omega-3 fatty acids in the form of fish oil type supplements are ineffective and a waste of your hard-earned money. In the meantime, and until the next video is released, bye for now.